Hello, y'all. Welcome to step 4 of the 5 steps to leaving a toxic environment, the Christian edition. So, we have gone through 3 videos so far on the first 3 steps. So, we've done realization, we have done agreeing with change. 3 was visualization. We're now at the game plan, and step 5 will be implementation. Um, so, yeah, at step 4 now. So, in the previous video, I mentioned the discrepancies between what I wanted or what I envisioned for a church community and just what I envisioned for myself, like what I wanted for my own quality of life versus what I was actually in, what, the how the cult was actually structured and all these different things. And so now that I'm in this situation and I'm realizing this, right? And if you've been following the steps for yourself, maybe you're now sitting down thinking, all right, well, if this is not what I want, how do I go forward to get what I want? And so I needed some help with this game plan. So in the first iteration of this coaching series, what I talk about in terms of the game plan is where you can figure these things out for yourself, or you can also add people into it, right? So it's good when you can have people who are able to help you workshop how to get what you actually want to achieve, or even just having someone or people as moral support ways. There are people that can really validate you in all of this, because sometimes when it comes to this stuff, there's definitely stuff like gaslighting and the kind of other people who are also in the system can and do kind of minimize what it is that's actually taking place. Or even if they might agree with you to a point, they might not agree that you need to go as far as to now leave this group, this community. So for me, I had half of my plan, but I wasn't really sure what to do next because, again, I knew I came to the realization that this was not a place that would help me in my faith. It wasn't a place that followed God. So, and I was not so burdened by what I saw that I wanted to like get rid of my faith, because one of the things is that I had faith in God. I was actually reading on my own to try and develop my personal relationship with God. And so, even within being in a cult, you are still there's when you're really going after it, you still find ways to connect with God and things like that. So despite everything that was happening, I still did have faith and belief on my own, and I really wanted to pursue that and grow in that. So I did have my times with God, but I thought to myself, okay, this environment isn't conducive for my continued growth, right? So just a quick refresher before I get into the my game plan steps was that I mentioned this in the previous video about what I was looking for. So I really wanted to have a church full of love and genuineness and just overall safety, right? Because in a cult, you're not safe. And that could take many different forms. It might be lack of emotional safety. It might be your actual like physical safety, which were some of the underground things that were happening that I mentioned. How there was how I had heard stories from members as I was on my way out that they they were aware of different domestic abuses, like and things like that. And that the lawsuit itself, I don't think I mentioned this in the previous video, but the lawsuit or the legal case that then brought me to all the revelation of this was actually sexual abuse. So there was different things embedded within here. So like, our members safe. I wanted a place that was safe. It makes sense that the house of God be safe. And if it's not, then huge red flag, right? I wanted a place of unity and support, right? They can help me grow. I can help them grow. We can pray together and really just go in, and that really this was going to be a place of faith based off the word. And it wasn't going to be a system that uses the word as a way to manipulate people, or that there wasn't going to be anything being twisted, no twist of interpretation as a way to make people conform, and things like that. And and wherever there would be error, that at least, because I know that people are not perfect, I'm not perfect, no one's perfect, but that at the very least there would be some repentance there, right? So if there was someone to call out an error, the authority figures, the leading authority, would be able to actually process that, not dismiss it, and really consider and make some changes, and things like that. And let me see if there was anything else. Yeah, so that's basically what I was looking for. I was looking for a Bible-based community, a safe community, nobody lording title over each other or twisting scripture, or just no spiritual abuse. It was, and we're all growing. And that was not what this was. So coming to the realization that this was not what this was, and just the dynamic of everything, I knew first and foremost part of my game plan was I'm not going to attend anymore. Like I had to say, all right, I'm not going to take part in this. But again, because I grew up going to church, and to this place specifically was my church, I didn't know how to search for another church. I'm like, okay, well, if I don't get that community here, where can I get it? Is it possible? So half of my game plan was, okay, I'm going to stop attending, and, therefore I wouldn't be participating in the ministries and whatever. And so as part of that, obviously I would go ahead and, I was going to give courtesy as well to let certain folks know, hey, if you don't see me anymore, this is why. Like, here is my thought process, here is my decision, so on and so forth. So I was quite determined. And so really, any talks that I had with anybody was really just putting them on notice. It wasn't oh well, I'm thinking to do this. At some point it was, but once I really, really got in depth, like I was saying, like, hey, I'm out of here, and here's why, as opposed to having those conversations where somebody could possibly sway or convince me that something could be different. So yes, so my first thing was stop attending, no longer, engage in those different ministries, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think also at this point I might have even thought to myself, okay, I'm not even going to, like, let me not, give any money, because I was also doing contribution and stuff like that, like, giving money to the church. So those parts I was able to realize, okay, I don't want to have that involvement. And then I also began paying attention to some of the people that I know that actually have left years prior. So one of the things, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the previous video, I think I probably touched upon it, but when you're in a cult and there is any sort of criticism about that cult, what happens is that you are advised to not look at that stuff. You are advised not to engage with those people anymore. Don't look at this stuff because, again, right, there's so much pride where the cult believes they're right. And so anything that threatens their image or tries to, that brings about a certain criticism about the cult, they don't want you to see it. So there were certain things that I had saw sometime prior, but these were when I was seeing some of these testimonies, I was just like, they don't seem, from what I know about these people, I don't they don't seem like the type of troublemakers or whatever the cult was trying to tell us about some of these people. It's just like I was like, I don't, I'm not gonna claim to know them super duper well, but I'm like, I don't think that these people are actually. It seems like we're talking about two different people here, almost, right? So I was just seeing different testimonies across different ministries because where I came from, actually, for those that do not know me personally or haven't seen some of my previous videos on this, the cult that I was attending is worldwide. So it's international. So I wasn't just seeing something from people in my city. It was just like there was just a slew of different things. So I did see and catch wind of certain things, and I wanted to pay attention to their story. Some of what I saw actually propelled me to continue to go forward with this, but also I was very, very much interested in their story because these were some of the people that I was watching are people who were still faithful. You know what I mean? In earlier videos, I talked about that there are some people who do just say, "Hey, I'm all good on the Christian life. I'm all set." But then there's others that they'll continue. They're just continuing elsewhere. They realize this is not the place. So I was curious to really be able to find some answers about, okay, well, how can I connect with somebody like that, who they are no longer part of this organization, but they have still been able to push forward and even thrive in God. Like that's what I really wanted. I wanted a change of my environment, but I didn't want to lose God. So I said, how does that actually happen? This is all I know. What do I do? So I connected with a couple folks that had left years prior, and I said, "Hey, I feel very moved, basically moved by God, moved by the Spirit to actually reach out to you. I want to, understand certain things. I think one of the things that came up as well was the concept of deliverance, which the cult doesn't really speak about. And so there was just different terms I was hearing and concepts I was hearing. I said, we don't talk about that. We didn't really talk about that over here. So what are you talking about? And how are you doing? Like how can I basically like let me know the blueprint basically. And so after having really paying attention to those testimonies, and then also getting that advice, then it really just solidified, like, yeah, okay, because I think if I could get the timeline right, I believe I made a decision to leave. I stopped attending, period. I want to say like maybe the first or second week of February. And then there like a couple weeks went by where I just wasn't attending, but I wanted to know next steps because I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just out here. I'm not, I'm churchless. Like, so what do I do? So I think there was like a couple Sundays that went by that I didn't go. I didn't go back and visit, and then I was able to have this time together with these two people, and then I said, okay, now that I'm talking to y'all, like you know. So I ended up doubling down, where I not only left, like I not only left and let people know I was leaving, but I then realize, okay, well, let me renounce my membership. Because remember how in the last video I said that, you know, maybe I might have secret rebellions. Maybe there's certain things I don't agree with. And so because I didn't agree with it, I kind of found ways to not do certain things, like, you know. And so doing those kind of like small little rebellions of like, okay, I know that, you know, a leader might want me to do this, but as it pertains to this, I'm going to handle it my way. So I would secretly, like, you know, handle it in my own way, for some things. But at the end of the day, even though I would do that, right, I'm still co-signed to it. If I'm still a member, I was like, so I said, okay, you know what? Actually, let me really clear myself out of this by also saying like, yo, take me off your membership list. I'm not even in it. You know what I mean? I'm just not in it, period. So I doubled down by, you know, sending an email to say, hey, I renounced my membership. You know, you can take me off your mailing list. But yeah, I just I won't be there. So I think I said something to that effect verbally. Not that I was, you know, I was telling them like, hey, you won't see me, like I won't be taking part in whatever. But in the email, I like, it was now on record. I'm like, I'm not a member at all. You like basically implying that I'm not in support of this and you won't see me again. Um so yeah. So to recap, stopped attending, renounced my membership, stopped tithing, stopped giving to the charities, and all that stuff. And I didn't, you know, I think that I think that I think that when it was shown that I wasn't coming, I believe that also I might have gotten some like invites to certain things, but I was just like, I'm out of it completely. So so that was my game plan. And so um I can talk a little bit more, I think probably on step 5 about, you know, where I landed. But yeah, so church for me actually looks very, very different. And it's not, I'm not in a building. You know, I have visited different churches in pursuit of trying to find the community that I desired. Um, and so I'll let you know a little bit more about that. But yeah, I'm not like in an official building with official membership anywhere. And so I'll tell you a little bit more, probably in step 5 about, you know, how do I actually do this practically. I think that might be in step 5, or I've, you know, or maybe like an extra video or something that I add on. But so yeah, that was my game plan. Just get out and find something different. And so um yeah, so the next step would be like actually implementing it, which I kind of covered on this video. Step 5 is really some more of the nitty gritty heavy one. So I think like step 3 was very like heavy, and then step 5 is going to be heavy too, because um, heads up, when you are trying to leave a cult, they don't really want you to go, and so you will see some resistance. And so in the step 5 video, I'm going to tell you a lot more on how to manage that, how to overcome that. I wasn't going to originally do this, but I will also do a step 0 video as well, just kind of to show you and tell you how I work through my fear. So, because at first I was just going to leave the step 0 for you to just view. But I feel that just to make this story make a little bit more sense to you and what it's going to look like for you, I'm feeling compelled to actually release a step 0 video. So be on the lookout for that. But that was really it. The game plan video isn't particularly long. I think the biggest part of all of it is just it's the stuff that comes before. It's the realization. It's the getting your mind in the mind, in the headset, or the mindset, excuse me, of yeah, I've got to make things different. So to leave is simple. but it's hard at the same time. So we'll get to the hard on the next one. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Again, leave comments. And I don't know if sometimes there's issues with uploading. So if you try to put in a comment but then it like was gone, I'm very sorry about that, because I think that came up about like someone's comment not being there or being deleted. I did not delete it. So yeah, but please do leave me comments, or you can feel free to email me or reach out to me on any of my socials, just for general support. I do want to add in that I do, one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching in terms of just, just spiritual life coaching. So if you want to be able to have that going and know more about that, more details about what that entails, please do reach out as well. Information on everything is going to be in the description box. So I will see you for the next time. And once again, have a good one.